Today I'm going to see if this simple texture technique is as easy as it looks. I'll be using texture combs and joint compound. Let's get started. Now I'm just going to give this a little bit of a stir just to get some of those air bubbles out. Make it a bit smoother. You can see it's getting smoother as I mix it. And you may have noticed I also had a spoon out. I thought I might try creating a bit of texture using the spoon. So I'm going to cover my entire canvas in the texture. And you can just get joint compound at your local hardware store. Let's see if that's enough. I just want to put an even spread. You can use lots of different things to spread the texture. So this is just a spreader that you can get from your local hardware store. And this is a 16 by 20 inch canvas. I'll try and get it as even as I can. Now I'm going to try and smooth it out a bit more. I'm just going a bit lighter. Try not to get too many lines through it. I don't want to keep going with this for too long because it will start to dry. So we might just have to apply lots of texture using these. I don't know which one to start with. Obviously they all will make different patterns. And I probably don't want to use all of them. I do want to try this one out though. This one looks like it would be a bit softer. So I might do a wave or something through the middle here. Okay, I'm not sure I have it thick enough for that particular one. So it could, while I'm doing it, it could be all right for this one. Or this one. Oh, that's interesting. Or this one. Okay. Just take off that. I do like the way that's quite smooth though. Looks like a bit of fun. I'm just going to thicken that bit up. I'm going to try that again now that it's a bit thicker just here. It should carry it through. Look how much came off because I had it really thick. I'm going to pop that back in my bucket. I'm going to use wet my finger to smooth that off a little bit. It's not perfect, but we're here to experiment today. So I'm going to try and do a big circle here. I think it's going to be, I have the middle of the circle here, I think. Let's try that. That's nice. I can't believe how much I'm taking off. So I don't know whether that means I had it way too thick. And I'm going to go again. This is going to be a bit trickier because I want to follow my line. It was perfect, yeah, but let's find out how hard this is going to be. Missed a bit here. but we could make that like that. What do I do with things like that? Any suggestions? Okay, what do I want to do up here? Maybe an arch, and then something completely different here. I think what I'll do, and to show you that you can, is respread that. I was going to try the spoon, wasn't I? What can I do with the spoon? I'm going to try it here first, in this little area, because it needs something. I'll wet the back of the spoon. I'm just wanting to create some different widths. I'm taking it from the center. Ooh, look at that. Kind of like that. A little bit interesting. Not sure about what's going on here though. Maybe you come through like that. So just showing that you can create things with other stuff as well. Now I think we're going to do an arch here. So I'm going to come up here. Like that. So little things like this bother me. Can I fix those? I've got water here. This bit in particular. Maybe I can use this and just do a few little touch-ups with just a palette knife. Tricky though. Not sure it's working great. The other option is I can come along and sand little bits with some sandpaper, which might be the better way to go. Alright, so we're at the next day and it's mostly dry. I'm going to be careful with these very thick parts though, because I think they still might be a little soft. But I've got this tool that I had from a long time ago when I was doing some like pottery stuff. So it's, you know, you can probably find it in the clay making section of your art supplies. And I was just going to use that just to scrape some of these little bits that I'm not that happy with, like this lump here. I'm just going to sort of scrape that down a bit and just sort of shape it. So I guess you've got to have a bit of patience if you want to do this, but because you know, it's my first time doing this, I wasn't sure how thick to have it. There was bound to be mistakes or happy accidents maybe, but you know, not perfectly smooth. So we're just going to fix a few of those areas just to make it look a little bit neater. It's not going to be perfect though, but we can make it a little better. And then once I've got this how I like it, I'm going to add some gesso. I've also got a bit of sandpaper here that I can just use as well. Might have to wait for this to dry a bit more. Okay, I've been working on this for a little while. I've got a few cracks here. So I'm just going to grab a bit of extra paste and just wipe it on those cracks. Just to fill them in. Just using my finger, smooth it on. And I'm loving the way it's looking, except for the bit I did with the spoon. I do think the spoon can work well though, but this bit here that I love the shape of, it's got some beautiful dimension to it. It's just in the wrong part of the painting. It draws your eye to it, and I don't want to draw the eye down to the bottom, so I'm going to attempt to remove it with this tool. And I guess it'll be a good test to see if you can do that kind of thing. Yeah, it's too high. So it's nice and hard though, using the joint compound. I'm just going to shave it off slowly, further and further down. And if I can make this section look good, I'm going to be very happy. So I cleaned up some of these areas quite nicely using the sandpaper and this tool, and that's it. I think that little curl looks kind of cool actually. So I could just smooth this out a bit and maybe leave it like that. I actually like that better with those flat tops, because that kind of, I'm going to have to fix that up. But it gives it another element. Okay, we'll let that dry and then we'll put on some gesso. So you can see that, you know, if you're only doing this for yourself, you can get a good result by just using a few little tools to help smooth things out if you make any little sort of lumps and bumps. I have noticed though, because I've done this on a canvas and I've been pressing down sanding here, I have created cracks through this thicker part. Now, if you're concerned that that's going to happen to you, I would use a panel board which won't have give, because as soon as I push down on it, it's probably caused those cracks. But I'm not going to be selling this, so I'm not too worried about it. So what I want to do next is cover the whole piece in some gesso. People ask me whether I prime my canvases. I buy them triple primed, so they've already got 3 coats of gesso on them. But because I've gone over and put on the plaster, that is not primed. So we need to cover it with gesso. Put a little bit of water on, just to help spread the gesso. Quite thick, the gesso. Okay, so I've got out some white, some neutral colours and a bit of blue, and I'm going to do blocks of colour. So because I'm doing blocks, I've got to make sure I make up enough paint each time, because I'm going to mix these up. I think I want to do some sort of creamy brown here. Maybe a small amount of these 2 colours. Let's see what colour we get here. I've also got out some Prussian phthalo blue, just in case. I'm making up a different colour now because of how much grey I put in there. It wasn't quite creamy enough. So I wanted a grey up here. So let's put the rest of that in. a blue grey. Might turn it around. Let's start with the grey. Right, that's the grey. Now let's get a different brush and paint this. This colour here, I think this one's going to be a they might all sort of be blues. Let's have a look. I'm going to make up a colour here. Alright, let's try this. I'm going to need a darker colour here. It's not the right colour. It's almost turning green. Okay, so that's not going to be the right colour. Right, let's try some ultramarine, some greyish blue, and some Payne's grey. Let's try that. So it's more of a dark greyish blue. Okay, we've got one more colour to go. This colour I'm not sure about, and I may change. I think it needs to have some of these brown tones in it. Let's try that colour. Just slightly lighter than that. Okay, this is nice and dry now, and it's looking good, but I just want to lift it a little. So I've got out some paints that I used to use for acrylic pouring. These are Deco Arts Extreme Sheen paints, and what I thought I would do is use a sponge and just glide over the top and catch the top parts of the bumps and just give it a little bit of a shine. This one here is champagne gold, so I'm going to put that on the side here. Let's see, I've got to be careful not to push it because I don't want it in the low parts. Alright, I'm just going to place it there like that. So I'm really going very light. Cool, I like that. And this colour just helps to bring in these other colours here down to this grey area. It's just a little bit bland. This one's missing. How do I get that? Okay, now I've got another colour for up here. I thought I'd do it on here. This is a pearl white. I thought that might just brighten it a little. Yeah, I'm glad I picked a different colour. There we go. That really does lift it. Okay, here it is on the wall. And we'll have a look at this shine, because I think that makes quite a difference. You can see as I move around it how it sparkles. Yeah, got that little curly bit there. So it's not, you know, like it's come out of a factory or anything. It's handmade. I think it's very doable for a beginner, with the fact that, you know, you're going to get some lumps and bumps, but there are ways to improve on that. The more you work over a piece, the worse it probably gets. So you can recover it with paste and, you know, go again. Same with the colours. If you're not happy where the colours are placed, you can paint over them because they're in block sections. So, you know, until you get the balance of colours right that you like. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you learnt a little bit from that one. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I shall see you all in the next one. Bye.